Hello, I'm Deborah Sword.
Hi, I'm Tyson Bankert.
Tyson, my last podcast
Mm.
episode was around the benefits of being conflict competent.
hmm
And I wanted to ask you, have you ever bought a gym membership and then not gone?
Personally, no, but I know many people who have. Yes,
Have you
yes.
made a New Year's resolution
Ah,
and not followed up on it?
absolutely. Yeah.
So we're asking people to be conflict competent, and we say there's benefits to it,
hmm
but it's work. It takes effort.
Absolutely.
So what motivates you to be more conflict competent?
I think for me, it is conflict happens all the time, and you have two choices, as we've talked about, or many choices, really. But and for me, wanting to handle it and tackle it, often I think for me it's clarity. It's an opportunity for kindness, from myself and from the other person, hopefully. And I think it's an opportunity to relate better to each other. Uh, and but overall, I think the first and foremost, it's clarity. It's like what's actually happening, what's going on. I don't like the ambiguity that conflict oftentimes creates.
And we talk a lot about conflict
Yes.
analysis and making sure that you are actually dealing with the real, actual, authentic problem and not the superficial.
hmm
But say more about kindness.
Mm.
There doesn't always seem to be a lot of kindness that comes when you're in conflict. It seems to be that's when you want to hurt somebody, not you in particular.
hmm
But what is the value of saying, I'm in conflict with this person and I want to be kind?
I think it allows for, I think it's that humanity piece, right? There's a miscommunication, an argument, um, on one end, even like harm and or abuse, but I think there's always an opportunity to have potentially restoration and that kindness of, can we meet each other halfway here, or can we see each other's humanity, in spite of the conflict that's around us. And I often think when I have put myself out there, sent that letter, or expressed my feelings, about the way in which I'm maybe feeling mistreated, or there's a particular situation that needs to have more depth and context. It is an opportunity for grace and that kindness to say, hey, let's meet each other at a point here. And not all the time has that been well received. But when it is, to me, it's that person saying, I'm open to being kind.
You know what you say raises two memories for me.
Mm,
Uh, we talk about how you want to show up in the world,
mhm,
how I want to show up as a kind person. There is value to me in always being open to possibility.
mhm,
Maybe we can't resolve this conflict yet, but if I add the yet, then I keep open the possibility that it could happen.
mhm,
And if you're unkind, you put up one more obstacle to
mhm,
the
mhm,
possibility of
mhm,
repair.
mhm,
And the other memory that comes up, I went to hear Corb Lund, and
mm,
I'll put a link to
mm,
Corb's music in the show notes. Um, Corb said something really profound. He said that he has traveled the entire uh, continent of North America, including polarized audiences where he's had sold out shows and people have been, his audience has been
mhm,
people from every pole of this
mhm,
political spectrum. And he's engaged with them. And
mhm,
he said, there's always something that we have in common.
mhm,
If we can find that, as you say,
mhm.
Tyson, your humanity. So we're talking about being unable to bridge these polarities. Tyson, pardon me, Corb rejects that possibility. I know you do too. But Corb said there's no reason that we can't if we just talk to each
Mhm,
other.
mhm.
And he said it sounds naive, but it actually works.
Right. I mean, you're starting off with a particular lens or starting point that can allow for this reimagination of what's possible, within how we can treat each other.
Yes.
And to your conversation last time, I think there's so much about being able to, you know, recognize that that is a possibility. Like that there's power in being able to think like, oh, there is a different or the potential here. And, that we want to recognize that each one of us is capable of that.
Yes, and particularly in these times where the news can be pretty grim.
Mhm,
And a lot of my friends have stopped listening to the news because they're overwhelmed.
mhm,
They can't handle the negativity. So I'm comfortable with being called naive. I'm comfortable with the accusation that I keep thinking that there's this possibility.
mhm.
So that's what keeps me
Yeah,
motivated.
you're open to it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. And so I think the conflict competency I'm talking about here, it takes effort to be conflict competent, and it's worth it.
Hmm, hmm,
So this is what keeps me in this field working, uh, trying to talk about it and encourage people to do the work.
hmm. I'll just add one last thing to this is I think that when you have that opportunity or that possibility to be open, you also then start to be able to recognize when, right? Or when to lean in, when to ask and be curious, when to also respond for yourself and for that other person with kindness and opportunity. And if I feel like if you're always closed, the more closed off you are, that's all you'll ever see. And so you never really get to like because it's there, right? And even if it feels like it's harder to look for it, you want to expect that out of folks, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
your expectations change.
And there's a continuum between being closed, having boundaries for your own
Hmm,
safety and well-being and peace of mind, and being open. And that's another conflict
hmm,
competency is, and we've talked about that. When is this relationship worth it? And when is it time to walk away?
hmm.
So that's those are some of the conflict competencies and what motivates me to stay doing this work. Thank you for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast, like it, share it. What would motivate you to try to keep improving your natural conflict competencies? Thank you, Tyson.
Thank you. See you all next week.